All right, well, it's 5:30. We'll go ahead and get the meeting started this evening. I'd like to call this meeting to order. Thank you all for being here to join us for the August 4th board meeting for the Board of Commissioners. At this time, I would like to ask Kirk Anderson if he would lead us in the opening invocation of prayer.
Thank you, Heavenly Father, for letting us gather together today. Thank you, Lord, for letting us be among our friends and our colleagues. Please, Lord, bless these proceedings and let us have your hand touch them and let us go in the direction that you would have us to. Please, Lord, bless our first responders, all of our men and women who are standing on the front lines, as well as our military. Please bless them, bless our leaders. Please let us be who you would have us to be and lead us along your way. In the heavenly name we pray. Amen.
Amen. While we're standing, Major Patrick, would you lead us in the pledge of allegiance?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. One comment that I wish I'd actually made before we did the prayer just a moment ago, but I wanted to let people know, and if you haven't been made aware, Judge Milo, who served as one of our Superior Court judges for many years, passed away yesterday. Served the county for a very long time, so we want to thank him for his service, obviously for his family, for his service that was there, but ask everyone to please keep his family in your prayers, your thoughts and prayers as you move forward. So we'd like to recognize that for sure. Next item is our amendments to the agenda. I do have one item that I would like to see us add. To add to the amendment to the new business under section 8 under new business, to add item B, and that's appointment of committee for the county to serve with the comprehensive plan review. So if we could add that one item as we go through to get that committee appointed as we go through. Are there any other amendments that?
No, sir, that's it.
So next on the list is one of the times we love each month is employee recognitions. This is a great time for us to recognize employees for different things. We've invited several elected officials to do the same thing. So I'm going to start off letting the elected officials go first, and then we'll go with the county one. So Mitch, if you wouldn't mind on the sheriff's office.
Okay, thanks. As always, we want to thank y'all for allowing us this forum to recognize some of our employees. Sheriff Craig wanted to be here tonight, and anticipated, but something unexpected came up, so I'm happy to stand in his place. Tonight we've got a little bit about the award. We've got 3 awards. We're doing May, June, and July Employee of the Month. The Sheriff's Auxiliary raises money, and they thought it's a good way to recognize some of our employees for their great work. Usually the nominations come in, we send out, and each month fellow co-workers nominate somebody for the work they've done. Or another method, some special act in the field, a consumer, gives an attaboy and sends a letter in. So tonight, I'd like to ask Major Patrick to come up and Charlie Vickers. And we're going, like I said, we're going over May, June, and July. So if we could get Sergeant Lewicki to come up, Sergeant Weaver, and Miranda McDowell. Y'all come up and I'll explain how they were nominated or what about it. But, these are 3 great employees, which all of our employees at the Sheriff's Office. It's really hard to pick. Each month, we put out the nomination, we get countless things. There's a committee that looks at it, decides who. But to start with, we'll go over with the May, which is Sergeant Lewicki. This actually came from the field. He's recently in UPD, recently promoted sergeant in the ADC, which he does a great job. That in and of itself would be, recognized Employee of the Month. But there was one letter came in from a citizen that touched the committee's heart. He responded to a death in a house. An elderly mother had lost her son, and it found him, he'd been sick, but found him in the residence. The coroner was called. said natural causes. So they had made arrangements with the funeral service from out of county to pick him up. But the funeral service couldn't come till later the next morning. So, you know, Sergeant Lewicki didn't want the mother to stay there by herself with her son. So he just stayed there and comforted her the rest of the night until his body could be removed. So in that respect, plus the service he provides every day, he's chosen May Employee of the Month. Moving on into the next month, June, Sergeant Jody Weaver, Supervisor of Court Services, does a great job. His nomination comes from the field, just for exceptional work that he does day to day. I mean, if you go into the court services, you'll see a smiling face, always positive attitude, great employee. And also, his supervisor, which is in the room back here, has been out with some shoulder stuff. So Sergeant Weaver has had to take on some extra responsibility with his absence. So for that reason, Sergeant Weaver, Employee of the Month. Okay, last but not least, Miranda McDowell, Executive Assistant in her office. I mean, I see every day what she does. I mean, she takes on so much more. You know, there's a new extra duty stuff she's taking on. I mean, works hard every day. Positive, always bouncing up and down the hall. Her nomination comes anonymously from the field, and I think it's justly rewarded. She was chosen July Employee of the Month.
I just want to say thank y'all for your hard work, loyalty, and dedication. It's really no small.
Thank you, sir.
We'll turn it over to Charlie. He's got some actual money. So.
Most important.
Yeah, on behalf of the 50 members of the Pickens Sheriff's Auxiliary, I'd just like to congratulate all three of you. You're very deserving of the honor that's been bestowed upon you, and it's my honor to represent the auxiliary and presenting this to you. In the interest of time, I'll read one certificate and put in all three names. This certifies that Miranda McDowell, Sergeant Jody Weaver, Sergeant Stephen Lewicki has been nominated for and selected Employee of the Month for July, June, and May. Honor an exemplary dedicated service within the Pickens Sheriff's Office dated August 4th, 2022, under my signature as President of the Sheriff's Auxiliary. Congratulations to all three of you.
Yes, sir. You have to scoot out of the way and y'all get to the front.
Who you want to stand
No,
next?
we just stay right here, next to the flag.
You're pretty smiling.
You know that Facebook.
Nobody sent in a letter about those, did they?
Yeah, that was a bad one.
Look at me. Perfect. Now look over here, wait, we're not done.
Thank you.
No, give me your wait. Try to smile.
Hard for me to look pretty twice in a row.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I know. Thank you very much. Everything, thank you for each of you for your service. I apologize to Lieutenant Kelly in the back, I really didn't recognize him. Thank you all for being here. We also have our tax commissioner that is going to recognize employees as well. So if I can get Daniel Reeves to come forward.
Thank you, Mr. Commissioner, Board of Commissioners. Appreciate you letting us do this. And also to follow up on what just took place here. We also want to let the Sheriff's Department, first responders, know how much we appreciate what you guys do every day. Me and my two sons, our favorite show that we watch together is Body Cam on the Scene. So we actually watch that, and the first responders on the scene. So my children have got to come up and kind of see what you do every day. And so for those that may not know, understanding how they put their life on the line and the situations they roll up on every day. So we do appreciate every day what you guys do. So we want you to know that you hold a special place to us. So thank you very much for the job that you do every day. Thank y'all so much. And also I want to recognize Kelly as and we do employee of the quarter in our office. We're a little late getting this done because it's actually for the spring quarter. But Kelly's actually won it the last 2 times. She's been with us a little over a year, and one of the things that we go by, and like we said before, we kind of created a little bit of friendly competition with a point system to where it has to do with production, customer service, now phone calls that's answered. And we've done all of that to ensure good customer service. So if they're kind of fighting for the customers or for the phone calls, we know that phone calls are getting answered and the customers are getting waited on. But Kelly, she kind of come in the door, standing out in a lot of ways. She takes the initiative to do things that's not really part of the normal, job description. She makes forms for us. She makes our business cards. She does a lot of things like that and brings them in. She just does jobs like that. She's won the point system the last two quarters. She just does a really good job. She's here every day. She's got a great attitude. She gets a lot of the times the most customer service comment cards because we have that on the desk as well. We encourage people to leave the comments, customer service, how did we do? So we put that on there, and so she typically gets that as well. So we want to present her with a certificate for the Employee of the Quarter, as well as a $50 gift card for her. So we appreciate Kelly. Thank you.
She hasn't come in for another one. She's going to have to learn how to say go dogs in the future. Football season.
He laughed that out.
So next is actually a recognition from the Board of Commissioners, and we honor whenever we have different anniversaries for employees and employees that have been with us for a certain period of time. So tonight we would like to recognize Mr. Jacob Edwards for his 10 faithful years of service. He started when he was about 10, I do believe. But Jacob, following in the footsteps of his father, has been around fire service most of his life and has been a part of the Pickens County Fire Department for 10 years. And we want to recognize you, but before we come down and hand you the presentation in the plaque, I'd like Chief Prather and Director Elrod to come up as well with you, because I know that you work very closely with that crew. But we'd like to recognize you for 10 faithful years of service, and thank you very much for all that you've done. Thank you very much. We're going to stand up here, you get each picture taken, so you don't get to die. I don't know which direction to look. Thank you, Chief. Yeah, we'll make you. Got it. All right. It's always exciting. It's something we want to continue to encourage department heads and elected officials, though, is to take advantage of recognizing just the outstanding service that each and every employee that we have provides. It's mind-boggling at times what people go through and what you endure dealing with the public. And that's part of being a public servant, but to see people do it and keep the smile on their face and continue to have the right attitude is always impressive. So thank you. We do not have any items for our consent agenda tonight. Moving on from our consent agenda into old business. Old business, we went over the mileage policy update last meeting in our work session. What we're proposing is a change to the mileage reimbursement for employees to essentially state in the handbook that we are going to follow the rate set by the state accounting office for the state of Georgia for automobile mileage reimbursement. That way it's consistent with what the state puts out. Currently the state's at 62.5 cents per mile, which is significantly different from what it was back in 2015 when this was originally put in place, where it was at 57.5 cents. So I would like to entertain a motion that we update our policy to remain consistent with the state on our mileage policy.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All right. Any discussion or questions related to it? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
None opposed? Carries. So the next item we have is on employee handbook updates. If you look in your files, you'll see where a copy of the sections for the employee handbook. These were also discussed during our work session during our last meeting. The sections within our employee handbook deal with the remote work policy, employee classifications dealing with the exempt versus non-exempt status, children at work policy, administrative leave, accumulation rate, and year-end rollover, to where we allow 2 additional weeks of vacation time to roll over from year to year. And then a county vehicle take-home policy to be updated as well. We have a copy of this handbook up front. I know that you each received the updates that were proposed from the Director of Human Resources during the last meeting, so I'd like to entertain a motion that we approve the presented updates to the employee handbook.
Motion to approve.
And do I have a second?
Second.
All right. Any discussion or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Here's as well. So we will move on to new business. New business is in September. We have an upcoming conference. The ACCG is hosting the Legislative Leadership Conference with training. I believe 2 of us are attending this one. That we'll be going separately and staying separately, so that anyone that's concerned about the quorum issue there. Plus, I love the quorum thing because I get a bed to myself and a room to myself. And share it. So that's the great thing there. But one of the things that does take place during the legislative conference is that we have to have a delegate to represent our county during the voting meetings that take place as well. So I will open up the floor to any motion for who to represent our county while we're there.
I move to appoint Chairman Stansel as our voting delegate.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? I will, all right, so any discussion related to it? All in favor? I don't get to vote, so I can't say nay. Thank y'all for that. What that essentially means is it's one additional meeting that you get to go to during the 3 days of meetings, so we will go through that. I get to return the favor here in just a second, though. The item that we were going to add to our agenda when we did the amendments to the agenda under item B is the appointment of a committee to work on our comprehensive plan review. 2 weeks ago, we had a representative from Northwest Georgia Regional Commission come in and do a presentation. This is every 5 years we have to do an update to our 10-year comprehensive plan. That is a process that we're supposed to undertake now that will go into 2023. Each municipality within the county and the county have to have a committee that will then join forces to invite in a group of stakeholders from within the community to then host a public meeting as well. But we need to have a committee to start reviewing our points that are on there. I always think it's a good idea to have one of our commissioners there, and since I work with our staff on a daily basis, bringing in a post-commissioner is wonderful. And since Commissioner Tippins made the motion for me to serve at the conference, I would like to make a motion that we appoint the following committee with Commissioner Tippins to represent the board: Bethany Brown from our Planning and Development Office to represent Planning and Development, and Ms. Stephanie Gooch from the Tax Assessor's Office to work to help kind of piece together everything we need to piece together in order to draw those committees from everybody else together. So I would like to make a motion that we appoint those 3 individuals to be on that committee. Do I have a second on that?
I'll second.
All right, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
I can't vote. Don't make it be a tie. I would have broke it if I had to. So that will teach you to make a motion on me next time. Now, next is our action items. As we go through, action items are to approve minutes. We did have on July the 21st a marathon of meetings. With 3, we had our regular meeting, our work session, and our called meeting. I know that the minutes have been provided to the board prior to tonight. Hopefully you've had a chance to review those. If so, do I have a motion to approve each set of minutes?
I so move.
And a
Second.
All right, any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Guest comments. Do we have any guest comments tonight? Anyone have anything like that? There's a few. I always try to avoid eye contact with them whenever I say that. So, with no guest comment, we will be going into executive session. I'll go through the different items we'll be discussing in the executive session. First is to discuss or deliberate upon appointment, employment, compensation, hiring, disciplinary action, or dismissal, or periodic evaluation or rating of public officer or employee, or to interview candidates for executive positions. The other item is to discuss or vote to authorize negotiations to purchase, dispose of, or lease property, authorize ordering an appraisal related to the acquisition or disposal of real estate, enter into a contract to purchase, dispose of, or lease property, subject to approval and a subsequent public vote, or enter into an option to purchase, dispose of, or lease real estate, subject to approval and a subsequent public vote. And then to also consult and meet with legal counsel pertaining to pending or potential litigation, settlements, claims, administrative proceedings, or other judicial actions brought or to be brought by or against the county or an officer of the county in which the officer or employee may be directly involved. So at this time, do I have a motion that we go into executive session?
So moved.
Second.
All right, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
We will be going into executive session.